It starts with a breath. Or rather, the moment you realize it's not as easy as it used to be. Picture this. You're on a porch swing. The kind that creaks just right. Swaying gently as the evening air wraps around you. Maybe it smells like jasmine. Or rain's on the way. You breathe in, deep, steady, full. Feels good, doesn't it? But what if one day that breath isn't as easy? That's where I found myself. A cough that wouldn't quit. A tightness that crept in like an uninvited guest. If you're over 60, maybe you know the feeling. The slow shift, so subtle at first. Like a song fading out before you even realize it's gone. And then one day, climbing a flight of stairs leaves you pausing at the top. Hands on your knees, waiting for your lungs to catch up. But here's what most people don't tell you. Our lungs aren't on their own. They don't have to be. Nature's been looking out for us all along. There's a garden of herbs waiting to clear the path. To help us breathe the way we used to, light, effortless, free, simple, natural helpers that can sweep away the weight and let fresh air move through us again. And the best part? They've been around for centuries. Trusted by those who came before us. Long before inhalers and prescriptions took center stage. So, let's take a walk. 5 herbs. 5 ways to ease the burden on our lungs. Some you may already know. Others might surprise you. And stick around till the end. There's one that hardly anyone talks about. But once you discover it, it just might become your favorite. Ready? Let's breathe it all in. I'll start with a story. One that snuck up on me in my 70th winter. Not because of the number, but because of the cough that came with it. It was a damp December. The kind where the cold doesn't just sit in the air, it wraps around you. Seeps into your bones. For weeks, I'd been wrestling with a stubborn rattle in my chest. Not bad enough to call a doctor. Just that nagging feeling, like every breath was only half finished. Annoying, persistent. One evening, I sat by my fireplace, quilt over my knees, listening to the steady crackle of the logs. Tried to breathe in the warmth. Couldn't. My lungs felt heavy, stuffed like an attic forgotten for too long. Not enough to scare me, but enough to frustrate me. I've earned my years, raised kids, tended gardens, danced at more weddings than I can count. A little wheeze wasn't going to slow me down. That's when Marjorie showed up. 78, sharp as a tack, with that known look only a friend who's been through it can give. She'd smoked in her wild 1960s days, rebellion and all that, still carried a faint rasp in her voice. "Your lungs need a lift," she said, setting a steaming pot on my table. The smell hit me first, sharp, woodsy, like a forest waking up. Eucalyptus. She winked. Saved me more times than I can count. She poured me a cup. I took a sip. The warmth spread through my chest. And something inside me shifted. Not a miracle. Just a moment. A gentle nudge. Reminding me that breath should be easy. That night started something. A journey I'm sharing with you now. Because if there's one thing we seniors know, it's that vitality is worth fighting for. Our lungs have carried us through decades, laughter, tears, long walks with grandkids. When they falter, it's not just discomfort, it's a message, a reminder to pay attention. So, let's do just that, together. 5 old friends from the earth, here to help us breathe a little lighter. A quick word first. I'm no doctor. Just a storyteller with a passion for what works. Check in with yours before trying these. Your health is your own story. And they've got the map. Got it? Good. Let's meet our first companion. Eucalyptus. The forest's gift to our golden years. Picture a sunburnt stretch of Australia, eucalyptus trees rising tall and proud. Their leaves shimmering silver in the heat. For centuries, they've fed koalas, shaded wanderers, and stood as quiet guardians of the wild. Then humans caught on, crushed the leaves, distilled them into an oil that smells like freedom itself. That scent takes me back to my 60s, when I'd visit my sister Dot in her cozy little bungalow. She was 75 then, a widow with a laugh that could light up a room. But winters hit her hard. The cold settled deep, leaving her winded. One Christmas, I found her hunched over a bowl, a towel draped over her head like a tent. Eucalyptus steam. She grinned, voice muffled. Clears the pipes. I peeked in, inhaled, and felt my own chest loosen, like a door creaking open after years stuck shut. That's eucalyptus, a breath of fresh air for us seniors. It's got a knack for breaking up the gunk that clogs our lungs, easing coughs, and coaxing out the mess left behind by colds and allergies. Marjorie swears by it for her smoker's shadow. Adds a few drops to her humidifier every night. Keeps me from rattling like an old engine. She chuckles. Dot's trick stuck with me. A pot of hot water. A few drops of eucalyptus oil. A towel to trap the steam. 10 minutes. And it's like the forest itself sweeps through you. Clears the airways. Fights germs. Cools the burn of irritation. Perfect for those days when allergies flare up. Or the grandkids bring home a sniffle. I keep a bottle by my bedside now. Not just for relief, but as a reminder. That even at 70, 80, we can still feel alive. Lungs wide open to the world. And then there's Bill. My neighbor. 82. Spent his best years working in a dusty mill. His breath's been short for decades. A souvenir from a life well lived. Last spring, I shared Dot's steam trick with him. Thought I'd be wheezing forever. He told me a week later. Standing a little taller. This stuff's a miracle. Now, Bill's no fool. He checks with his doc. Keeps his meds on track. But eucalyptus gives him an edge. A way to reclaim a piece of the man who once hauled lumber without a huff. Because for us seniors, it's not about turning back time. It's about making the time we've got sweeter. Easier. And eucalyptus? It's that old friend who shows up with a broom when your house needs airing out. Horehound. The minty keeper of comfort. Let's step into a cozier patch, maybe your own garden. Or the one your mother tended years ago. There it is. Horehound. A scruffy little mint cousin. Its leaves crinkled like a grandmother's hands. Its scent earthy, sharp, and familiar. It's been around forever, sneaking into cough drops and syrups you plucked off the pharmacy shelf. But its story goes deeper, back to the days when folks trusted a plant to mend what ailed them. I met Horehound through my old pal Frank. 67, retired trucker, a voice like gravel and a heart of gold. We'd sit on his porch, swapping stories, him about the open road, me about my grandkids' antics. One fall evening, he pulled out a jar of dark, sticky syrup. Grand's recipe, he said, giving it a stir. Horehound, honey, splash of bourbon. Frank had been coughing since the leaves turned. A deep, stubborn hack that echoed off the rafters. He took a spoonful, then handed me one. Bitter, sweet, warm. It settled in my throat like a soft blanket. Next day, his rasp was softer, his grin wider. Clears the junk. He nodded. That's Horehound's gift. It moves the gunk out, lightening the load for lungs that have seen a few too many seasons. Allergies kicking in? Sinuses stuffed? A cold that won't quit? Horehound's got your back. Frank swears by it when the pollen flies. Says it's better than anything in a bottle. I started digging into it after that. Turns out, folks have been chopping the leaves, mixing them with honey, even adding a nip of something strong if they're feeling frisky. Simple, steady, a nod to the days when we fixed what we could with what grew nearby. For us seniors, it's more than a remedy, it's a tether to resilience. I think of my friend Lila, 76, who raised 5 kids in a house warmed by one wood stove. Winters meant coughs aplenty, so she'd brew Horehound tea from the patch out back. Kept us going, she says, eyes twinkling. Now, with grandkids of her own, she still swears by it. Hands jars of syrup to her daughter when flu season looms. It's not fancy, but it's steady, like the rhythm of a life well lived. I keep a tin of Horehound drops in my purse now. Small victories, for those days when the air feels heavy and my chest begs for a break. Osha root. The mountain's steady hand. Let's climb now, up into the rugged peaks of the Rockies, where Osha root burrows deep into the earth like a secret worth keeping. It's a wild thing, hairy, tough, with a scent that's half spice, half soil. The native folks of these mountains have leaned on it for generations, chewing it raw, steeping it strong, trusting it when the air thinned and breathing grew hard. I crossed paths with Osha thanks to my cousin Ed. 73, retired, but you'd never know it. He spends his days chasing trout streams and mountain trails, moving like a man with lungs to spare. We met up last June at his cabin, tucked high where the pines whisper secrets. I'd been dragging, a summer cold had me huffing up the stairs. Ed noticed. Try this, he said, handing me a chipped mug. Inside, water swirled dark with a few drops of Osha tincture. Rich and potent. I took a sip. First, a tingle. Then, warmth. Like my lungs got a gentle nudge awake. Keeps the air flowing. He grinned, tapping his chest. By supper, I was breathing easier. The mountain looked sharper in my eyes. That's OSHA. A quiet powerhouse. It stirs the blood in your lungs. Wakes them up so oxygen can weave through you like a thread. Cough nagging? Throat raw? Bronchitis knocking? OSHA steps in, numbing the sting, soothing the fray. Ed swears by it for his high-altitude hikes. Says it cuts the panting in half. I've heard of folks chewing the root straight. But I stick to the drops, 3 in my tea. A little ritual for when the grandkids' germs come calling. It's a senior's friend. This one, I think of Agnes, my old neighbor, 81, who spent her life teaching in drafty classrooms. Her lungs took a beating, every cold settled deep. Last winter, I slipped her some OSHA tincture. Like a weight lifted, she told me later, voice lighter, clearer. She's no hiker like Ed. But she's still tending her roses. Still reading to her great-grandbabies. Still breathing easy. OSHA's not a cure-all, it's strong. So check with your doc, but it's a steady hand. Helping us hold on to the things that matter. A walk in the crisp air. A story shared without a wheeze. And the feeling, no matter our age, of lungs wide open. Ready for the world. Ginseng. The elder of endurance. Now, let's journey east, to the misty hills of Asia, where ginseng roots curl beneath the soil like wise old sages. For centuries, healers have prized them, dried them, brewed them, turned them into elixirs for body and spirit. It's a plant with gravitas. A quiet strength that's carried people through long lives. Steady and sure. Ginseng found me through my friend Ruth. 69. Librarian. A woman who's weathered more storms than most, cancer in her 50s. A smoker's past she left behind. We'd meet for tea in her cozy nook. Books stacked high. The scent of old paper curling in the air. One afternoon, she pulled out a jar of ginseng powder. Keeps me going, she said, stirring it into her cup. She'd started using it after pneumonia left her lungs fragile. Her energy drained. I breathe better, she mused, and I don't fade by noon. I tried it, bitter, earthy, a slow burn, but beneath that was something else. A lift, a quiet hum, like my chest remembered how to expand. That's ginseng, a fighter. It cools the low-grade fires that creep into our lungs as we age, making every breath a little easier. It's a booster too, nudging our weary defenses awake, handy when flu season circles close. But where it really shines, for folks with COPD, that thief of air that shadows too many seniors. Ruth's brother Carl, 74, knows it well. A lifetime in a factory left his lungs scarred. On Ruth's nudge, he started taking ginseng capsules. I walk farther now, he told me last month. A shy grin breaking through. Not cured, but better. COPD's a tough foe. No miracle cures, but sometimes, it's not about beating it, it's about making space to breathe. To do the things that still matter. Because for us, it's about endurance, staying in the game. I think of Helen, my old boss, 83, ran a diner into her 70s. Hands quick, mind sharper. She sips ginseng tea now. Says it keeps her steady for bridge nights. Me? I mix it into warm water some mornings. A quiet nod to the years I've got left. Because ginseng is a companion for the long haul. A root that reminds us we're still here. Still breathing. Still writing our stories, grandkids' graduations. Sunsets on the porch. The next chapter waiting to unfold. Mullein. The velvet touch we've forgotten. Here's the sleeper. The one too many pass by. Mullein. A tall, fuzzy sentinel along forgotten roadsides. Its leaves soft as a whisper. Its flowers a quiet yellow. It's been a healer since the days of dirt floors and candlelight. A gentle giant for lungs that have carried us far. Mullein wandered into my life through my Aunt Vera. 80. Steady as ever. A keeper of old ways. Last April, my allergies roared. Pollen turned my chest to mush. Every breath a sneeze waiting to happen. Vera showed up with a mason jar. Dried mullein leaves rattling inside. Tea, she said, steeping them with the ease of someone who's done it 100 times. Trust me. So I did. Sipped the mild, floral brew. By nightfall, the gunk had shifted, my airways unclenched, and the fog lifted. That's mullein's charm. A soft warrior. It doesn't just clear out the junk, it soothes. Wraps raw throats and tired lungs in velvet. It's been chasing off colds, viruses, even sneaky fungi for generations. Vera brews it at the first sign of a sniffle. Says it's kept her out of the doctor's office more years than not. Marjorie drops it in her tea when old smoke stirs her chest. Me? I keep a stash now, leaves for steeping. A tincture for quick fixes. Because mullein is the herb we forget. Lost in the chase for flashier cures. But for us seniors, it's gold. A gentle nudge, reminding us to keep breathing easy. I shared it with my friend Walter, 77. A retired carpenter who spent decades inhaling sawdust. His cough had been a constant companion, until mullein came along. Like a hug inside, he laughed after a week of tea. Now, he's back to whittling, hands steady, breath even. Mullein's not loud or fancy. But it's there, quietly mending, helping us hold onto the simple joys, a chat with a neighbor. A laugh that doesn't catch. A breath that fills us up. Easy and free. These 5, eucalyptus, horehound, osha root, ginseng, mullein, are my porch mates now. Each with a tale that's woven into mine. They've walked me through stuffy nights. Softened my winters. Reminded me that age doesn't mean surrender. Marjorie steams her eucalyptus. Frank spoons his horehound. Ed hikes with osha. Ruth sips her ginseng. Vera brews her mullein. And me? I dance between them. Tea one day. Drops the next. Grateful for every breath they lighten. This isn't about dodging your doctor. Talk to them. Weave these into your quilt with care. It's about rediscovering what's always been ours. These silver years? They glow brighter when we care for what carries us. I see Aunt Vera tending her mullein. Marjorie laughing through her steam. Walter carving by his window. Proof we're still here. Still vibrant. Our lungs have sung us through decades, first dates. Lullabies. Long talks over coffee. They deserve a little love back. So, which one will you invite in? Eucalyptus to sweep the dust? Mullein to hush the noise? Tell me, I'm all ears. There's more on our site if you're curious, link below. But for now, step outside, feel the air kiss your face. And know you've got friends in the garden. Breathe deep. Fellow travelers, we've got stories left to tell.